I was talking to my mom yesterday and I started talking to her about this revelation that we're having on TikTok. You know, she is in the silent generation. And so, or actually, she was a baby boomer. And but with silent generation tendencies, right? So she doesn't know about what we've learned as Black women and what we are discussing widely because back in the day it was just, be quiet about it and just accept it. And I was having a real conversation with my mom, and she said some of the same things that we're realizing, that a lot of women were in abusive relationships because where could you go and how were you going to feed your kids? And she also confirmed to me that men, when women were having 21 kids, my grandma had 18 kids, my grandma had 21 kids, like it was something beautiful. She said that it was mass rape and that the men were raping the women. And she talked about a time of being young and being in, and I don't even want to say what area it is because people act like, well, it only happened in the South. No, it happened everywhere. When you see our grandmothers and your great grandmothers talking about they got 18 and 20 kids, the only reason they stopped having them was because birth control, Black women started having access to birth control. Young white women started sharing the fact that there was birth control, because at first my mother said when she went to the doctor when she was younger that she asked for birth control and the doctor was like, you don't need that. No, you don't have to have that. You don't need it. And it was a Mexican nurse that was there that snuck and gave her the birth control pills because she had two children that got killed in a car accident. She was a teenager and married. And then she had my sister, and then immediately got pregnant with my brother. And so the nurses, the Mexican nurse came through there and was just like, you got to be careful and start talking to her about our health and that it's not healthy to keep having babies back to back, because my mother was on track because she was a teenager and would have had 4 kids. She was on track to having 21 and 18 kids. And it was the Mexican nurses and the women that worked in these clinics that started sneaking and giving Black women birth control pills. And that is the reason why that most of your, I guess your mothers, or I should say your grandmothers, don't have 18 or 21 kids. But my mom talks about a time that when they were teen wives, right, married to 25-year-old men, because that's what you did back then. That's what men victimized women. She said that the men could beat you. They could do whatever they wanted to do to you. And if you fought back or called the police, they would just go to the police officer and say, well, she wouldn't do this or she wouldn't do that. And the police would just like leave and not do anything to help you. She also talked about this really sad thing where she said as a teen bride that when it got dark, that all of the women would get quiet. And the men would be drinking and partying, and they would all be sitting in the house, and then the men would just come and get them one by one and to go rape their wives. That's what my mom said. That when it would get dark, that all of the young women would get quiet. But people act like that. Well, if you have a Black daughter in 2024 and she's developmentally delayed, she has mental retardation, she's slow. Don't use the word slow. What the hell other word am I going to use? And they go, well, let her get an old man and that old man to take care of her. Like, my mother acknowledged that the horrible things that happened to them as teenagers, the horrible things that happened to their bodies. I mean, if you think about that, I just want to have a real conversation, and TikTok may take this down or YouTube may take it down. Let's have a real conversation. As a woman, have you ever been with a man that was overzealous or a man that was abusive? And how did your body feel the next day? Think about being a teenage girl. Think about being 13 or 15 and you're with a 25 or 35 or a 40-year-old man. What do you think he's going to do to a young girl's body? And like my mom said, when it would start to get dark outside, all the men would come back from the cafe and grab their woman and take them back and rape them. And that is why your great grandmothers had 21. She had 18 kids and she was fine with it. She wasn't fine with it. It's hard having a baby. And you imagine the torture that they went through, not being able to get any type of pain pills. You're just at home sitting in a bed, just with a whole baby falling out of your body. But they were fine. My grandmother was strong. My grandma and granddad, they had 21 kids because your grandfather was raping your grandmother. That's what he did. He would go out and party and then in the evening come in, and he wanted to keep her at home barefoot and pregnant. It was a cycle of abuse. It was a way that he controlled her. It was a way that he kept free labor. It was a way that he made sure that she kept her mouth closed and her legs open.